Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is noon Eastern time right here in Ambler, Pennsylvania, the booming metropolis right outside of Philadelphia, who is going to be doing a bit of celebrating tomorrow, of course, outside of Valentine's Day. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, but don't enjoy it for too long because the Jets are coming. Thursday, noon Eastern time, right outside of Philadelphia. You know what that means. It is time for Talent Experience Live, the show that covers everything that you need to know in talent acquisition, talent management, human resources, artificial intelligence, IAMPHENOM, and everything in between. I am your host, Devin Foster, and Talent Experience Live is proudly brought to you by the good folks here at Phenom, whose purpose is to help 1 billion people find the right work. That is why we host this show every single week. That is why we have a fantastic webinar lineup throughout all 12 months of the year, why we put on our annual conference every year in Philadelphia, known as IAMPHENOM. It's coming up March 11th through the 13th. And it's actually what we're going to be talking about a bit today. But we do all of this show on a weekly basis, our webinars, and IAMPHENOM, to ensure that we are always working towards our purpose of helping 1 billion find the right work. The way that we do that, I thought you'd never ask, is through our intelligent talent experience platform, which helps candidates find the right fit faster, employees evolve in their current roles and beyond, recruiters achieve next level productivity and efficiency through analytics as well as artificial intelligence, and managers get to build a better team with data analytics and automation. Of course, all of this is powered by super slick artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if any of this interests you at all, watch the full episode. We're going to talk all about Philadelphia and IAMPHENOM, but then you are able to rocky run your way right on over to iamphenom.com and to register, or you could always run over to phenom.com to learn more about our products. Today, we are tackling a kind of not a serious topic, but certainly an exciting one. We're going to really dive into IAMPHENOM as a whole, share some very serious insights, talk about some agenda items, but maybe in a more playful format. So I was joined last week by John Deal, and we put all of the topics in this particular hat for IAMPHENOM. You can see there's a plethora here. And what we did kind of at random was pick them out, talk about the topics, talk about some of the speakers that were going to be involved, as well as sprinkled in some Philly-centric questions that you may have if you are traveling to the city of brotherly love. So it was a super fun episode. We did throw some of those fun curveballs in there. We talked about our favorite things to do in the city. We talked about what technology is going to be discussed at IAMPHENOM and so much more. So for the next 30 or so minutes, sit back, grab some popcorn, enjoy your Thursday afternoon before Valentine's Day, before the Eagles parade, and learn all about IAMPHENOM. Of course, we didn't get to all of these topics. That would be a Martin Scorsese level episode of TXL, where it would run 3 hours long. You'd have to take a nap. There'd be an intermission. So that entices you to go find out more about the event. But we did tackle, I think, a lot of good ones. So without any further hesitation, here is John Deal and myself tackling all of these topics. So IAMPHENOM, John, just a few short weeks away. There is a plethora of topics. I think, do you know the exact over 100? I think I saw last.
Oh, yeah.
And adding more every single day.
Indeed.
Now, we kind of put our noggins together, if you will, and thought we could cover all of the topics, spotlight topics, all of the sessions, or we could have some fun with it. And you're a fun guy, right?
From what my mom says.
Yeah, people have called him the Mushroom Man because he is a fun guy. So what we did today was we took this hat and I filled it with not just session topics, but also some fun facts about Philly, some questions that people may be asking themselves. So what we'll do today is we'll take turns back and forth, picking out one of these hot topics, saying why it is an important session maybe we should attend, and what happens if you don't, right? Because I'm not going to argue, why you shouldn't attend the AI legislation. That would make me a Nimrod. I am going to say what could potentially happen if you don't attend an AI legislation session. Does that make sense for you?
I think it does, buddy. Let's do it.
You are the guest, the recurring guest, the guest with the most. Typically, it's the host with the most, but you're the guest.
I'm the guest with the best.
Yeah, the guest with the best.
There it is.
Do you work in
I had to
marketing?
follow up with your fungi thing, dude. Stay right on par. Exactly.
Anyway, we will start with you. You get to choose first. Is the topic here.
Okay, let's see.
This is why we can't have nice things. You're making a mess.
Oh, already. Here we go. Well, this one is a pretty popular topic right now.
Yeah.
Recruiting with AI.
Recruiting with AI. So I think the first thought that I'll take the positive spin on this. Everyone's talking about it, right? And for years prior to 2023, it's recruiters don't have enough time in their days, right? We started to leverage some intelligence. I won't necessarily call it artificial intelligence, but some tools like scheduling and things like that to hopefully give time back in recruiters' days. Fast forward to 2024, now into 2025, I think recruiting with AI is a necessity, right? There is a plethora of things that you can do, whether it's content creation, outreach, all sorts of things that will be tackled in this session. But I certainly think it's something that you need to attend, you need to learn about in order to be successful in 2025.
Yeah, I think that I use the analogy of the AI tools that are out there. It's very similar to trying picking the right streaming service, right? Like you have so many options, and which one's the best one? I heard that show was good, and I've really liked this movie, and it's only available on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. So it's like, how do you make the right decision without breaking the bank?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we're going to focus on in this session is, like, don't worry about making a decision. We're going to present the tools to you. Just learn how to use the tools, and also learn from other people who have used them about why they've been successful, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of hype, and the purpose of IAMPHENOM in general, but the specific purpose of the recruiting with AI topic is to cut through the hype and say, here are the things that are really making an impact for people like you that are, as a recruiter at other organizations.
I think it's like anything that's new. There's always going to be hype. There's always going to be doubters, and somewhere in the middle is going to be the truth. And what works for you, it could be different. And that's what this session is all about. People sharing what works for them, right?
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Also, streaming services. I just got Apple TV. It puts all of your streaming services in one place, so you don't have to bounce back and forth. It's fantastic.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's an
Now I gotta
omni-channel
go
approach.
on there
Have you ever heard
and
of
then look for my other streaming services through there?
Moving
I'll
right.
take the crotchety AI surgeon. You want me to use a tool that's going to tell me what to say? I don't think so.
Moving right along. I'm gonna dig deep here. This is a large one. Hitting the high notes of hiring efficiency. So overall, just talking about hiring with efficiency. I'll hand the floor over to you.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on this a little bit about bringing in intelligence to the process through automation, and being able to understand between automation and intelligence, and even candidate experience, and even internal hiring, employee experience, where to really apply these different things to get the most bang for your buck, not just on the recruiting side, but kind of more in that, to use a hackneyed term, end-to-end hiring. I'm bringing it back. So, but where does it make sense throughout the hiring process to kind of apply these different tools?
Yeah. No, I mean, we talk about efficiency with recruiters. I think it also is even more pertinent in these high volume situations, and making sure that you're efficient. Spoiler alert, this is a customer session. I went through and scrubbed all of the customers because we don't have their approval. We're not trying to get in any trouble. Sure. This gives you a little bit of homework. You can log on to the agenda, which is live right now on IAMPHENOM.com, and you can see which customer will be speaking about hitting the high notes in hiring efficiency. So definitely check that out. But we're all trying to be more efficient. I'm trying to be more efficient in my commute, right? Getting ready for the day. Same thing applies to work, but it's a little bit more important because your job requires being efficient, right?
Yeah, it does. And different jobs require different type of hiring, which means different types of efficiency in the process, right? Some
Very true.
jobs, as you kind of mentioned on the high volume side, you don't need to be as hands-on in the whole process, right? Whereas other jobs where you might be more of a skilled engineer, or like even maybe like a sales executive, or emperor of the social media at a software company, then there might need to be more intelligence brought into the process, where you need to be more hands-on. You need to be able to analyze the information coming back from these people and verify that they really do have the skill set and the chops to do the jobs that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And every emperor of social media needs more intelligence. I think that is the truth. You picked the next topic.
I'm going deep.
Great hat too.
Going deep. Hope they're sponsoring. Okay, so as you mentioned, there are some fun Philly things in here, right? And that is fundamental to IAMPHENOM, because it is a Philly conference, and we bleed green, although you'd bleed a different shade of green, as being a Jets fan. So here's a question for you. What's the one thing tourists always do here that locals never would?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I think it's see the Liberty Bell. I've lived in Philadelphia for 7 or 8 years now. I've walked past, I've seen it. There's a little window that you can kind of peek in and see it, but I've never sat through and done the tour. I have done like the big bus tours and gone around, seen all the sites, but the Liberty Bell, for something that is so famous, come to Philadelphia, stay for the crack, right? In the Liberty Bell. It's even an Always Sunny episode. That's something that I've never gotten to experience and really learn about.
Yeah, I've been waiting for them to fix it so that I can get the most out of the experience. I don't feel like paying the $15 or whatever it is.
Where's that money going?
Right?
Where is it going?
Honestly. So I've walked past the window too. That is the best way to see the Liberty Bell. Not to downplay history, it's very important. But I will say that you could get most of the experience just as a flyby.
Yeah, pass and stow. You can see it right on the side there.
That's right.
Or just watch National
Treasure.
Exactly. All right, next topic. That was a good one. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Next topic is next level conversational AI. So I'll hand the floor over to you, but I think this implies that there's something new coming. It's taking it up to 11, to use the Spinal Tap terminology.
Yeah, I think we've moved past the standard chatbot and moved more into the talent companion, the assistant that's going to really help you as a candidate get through the hiring process and in a meaningful way. The assistant that's going to help you as a sourcer or a recruiter find the talent that you need. Or make recommendations to managers, right, for specific candidates to fill positions. The technology you need for employees to have always on career coaches, right, so that when they're not maybe thinking about their job, what their next career move is going to be when they're there from 8 to 5 every day, or maybe they are, but usually they're looking at night, right? So it's the expectation of assistance and the ability for technology to provide that assistance, both are growing.
Yeah, I mean, when we think about interacting with career sites from a candidate's perspective, it's continued to evolve, right? And there used to be a time back in the day where if you spelled a word, no jobs would show up, right? Then type ahead semantic came about. Then the chatbot itself came out with some iterations on that, where you had multiple options to choose, right? Which industries are you interested in? Now this conversational piece is beginning to come in, where you can go back and forth, but you're not going to get those answers that I'm not sure how to help you with that, right? It is going to try and direct you in the right area, whether that is a job, whether that is your next step in your career, whether that is for a hiring manager, or skills that you can apply to your current employee profile to achieve that next emperor of social media role, or whatever it may be. It's continuing to progress and continue to being more, I would say, tangible, if that's the right word, where you can talk to it like a human and don't necessarily have to filter through things It's just having a conversation back and forth to get to whatever that end goal may be.
Yeah, and there's nothing more infuriating than the "I'm not sure what you're asking," right? Or the "I don't know." And Phenom, we always believe in that kind of human in the loop element. So you're not going to have to type representative 40 times to try and speak to somebody. It's the power of the technology to answer questions and provide feedback and make recommendations, but it's also the power of the platform to funnel people to people when an answer is not quite known, or when there's a more complex query or piece of information that somebody's trying to find.
You never have to spam the number 0, which is what I always do.
Right.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it kicks you back to the beginning. You're even more frustrated. Next topic, your choice.
Is it me?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this one is near and dear to my heart. Organizational goals with skills.
Oh, the skills conversation has to be had, I think, everywhere along the line. Oddly enough, today, I'm prepping for a future episode of Talent Experience Live where I interview AI, and constantly being fed back to me from this AI chatbot, we'll call it, was the talk about skills. And I think from an organizational perspective, it is huge, because you can look at it from a granular perspective as an individual. What skills do I need to get from position A to position B, to pay scale A to pay scale B, however that is. From an organizational perspective, you have to look at your entire employee base, that entire ecosystem of, say, where are we lacking? What are the next cutting edges in our particular industry? It's going to be different across industries, but how do we take that very unique skills ontology and evolve it to be better than our competition in the future, and to better attract talent in the future, to show that we are up with the times?
Yeah, and I think you're going to hear a theme through several of these sessions that that skills are not just for the HR team, for talent development, for powering learning labs, for skills-based hiring. They are really central to the business, and you'll hear kind of how they can be woven into the setting of goals for the business, and then cascading down into HR to find the right talent.
I like, this is going to sound crazy, but it's vastly important to look at it from that bird's eye view of an entire organization, as opposed to an individual level when we talk about skills. I compare it to a sports team, which, John, I love sports. Adding Luka Doncic to the Lakers just because he has a great skill set, does that mean they're going to win the championship? No, it is contingent on the skills that the entire team has, and what his skill set will help elevate everyone else, right? You have to look at it from that very 30,000 feet out view and say, how can we get to that next point?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a holistic view, and it's how do you practically weave it into the business conversation without overwhelming your managers, right? Without, what's JJ thinking right now, right? What's the team going to be like?
we don't, apparently Luka's fat. We don't know.
Right.
But we shall see. Hopefully he does another podcast with LeBron. We'll find out. The next topic, John, is driving change management. I don't even know how to set this one up for you, so I'm going to just let you take the wheel.
Well, this is the elephant in the room, I would say. The scary part of buying technology is, okay, now I need to roll it out. What does that mean for my organization? And it's one thing if it's a it's a piece of social media software that maybe only you and your team are using, versus something like a Salesforce where a lot of the organization is going to have to use it, right? And so the same thing applies in the HR space, because if you have something that, like the employee experience, where every single employee has to go in and do something or find a job or identify a career, that's a very scary proposition, because every employee's got to kind of look at it slightly different. Like, why did I get this recommendation? And what do I need to put in all my skills, or what am I doing? What's the one you put in your profile on LinkedIn? Just to
It's not about what you know, it's who you know.
No, the skill that your friends troll you with. It's like basket weaving.
I think it was trapping.
That's
believe
it. That's
was the skill. Yes.
So, like, how accurate are the skills? And what is it? Our managers get concerned too. Like, are you going to poach my talent? And so that's what this topic is about. And it's not just from the perspective of Phenom rolling out our technology. It's from the perspective of our customers who have rolled out technology, our partners who have helped customers roll technology, and getting some different point of view on different parts of the platform and how you can effectively roll them out. Yeah,
and I think hearing firsthand those experiences, and this is another customer-led session, about what went well and what didn't go well, to push the conversation of this is how we can improve, this is how our team personally could have been better set up for success, right? We were not prepared of this. And it happens with any piece of technology, John. I just mentioned I have Apple TV. That came with a new remote, which meant I had to drive change management in my home, teach my wife how to use the remote, teach my daughter how to use the remote, because God forbid she cannot watch Moana when she wants to. Very important things. But obviously I make a joke there. When you're dealing with a huge piece of technology and all of the concerns that go into it, it really does encourage people to foster their conversation sooner and get everyone on board, and then offer them specifics as to what pertains to them within that system or that ontology.
Yeah, and I think it's incumbent on the technology vendor to make sure that change goes smoothly as well, right? So if that remote was, the buttons were all different shapes, and instead of the triangle for the play, they used some new symbol, then you'd be infuriated. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of process and education, but it's also the technology should ease that process.
Yes. Eventually it does in the home. Next topic. You're up.
Is it me?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
This is an important one, I think, for all the folks coming into town for IAMPHENOM. You know that we in Philly are famous for cheesesteaks. Mm-hmm. You may also know that we're famous for soft pretzels.
Yeah.
But what is a must-eat food in Philadelphia besides the cheesesteak and the soft pretzel?
Ooh, I am going to keep it hyper-specific for the IAMPHENOM crowd. Typically, we do the party at Reading Terminal afterwards. Not all of the food vendors are open for that time, but there are a lot. If you get the chance, go in there early in the morning before the opening keynotes. Byler's Donuts. Spectacular. Justin Devitt always gets a box. I think that's because he's been up since the night before and he's able to get them right away. But I love the Byler's Donuts there. There's also some good cheesesteaks and roast pork spots in there.
There are some good pork spots.
But I would suggest the Byler's Donuts.
I would say that you have to get a hoagie when you come to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know what a hoagie is, it is a sandwich on a long roll with various types of meat and cheeses and deliciousness.
Yeah.
And it's cold usually. So that's another distinction from, because you're like, didn't you just describe a cheesesteak? But we love our sandwiches here. But I would say definitely a hoagie.
Yep.
If you're in a hurry, then obviously a Wawa hoagie would be appropriate, because you can get them fast.
And I'm going to go just a little bit different on this as well, because we both describe food. If you need something to wash it down, a Citywide. And if you want to know what that is, come find me at IAMPHENOM, and I'll go have a Citywide with you. But it is lots of refreshing beverages, I shall call it. Moving right along. John, I'm going to pick another. I peeked. I can see the topics have been all shuffled up, but I see one that is just calling for you. And that is skills as a strategy. I will hand the floor over to you.
Yeah. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, but a lot of times the topic of skills becomes one of tactical development.
Yep.
And if you can move it up in your strategic priorities, then it affords you a lot of different options to use skills in different places in the talent process. And, we're going to touch on a lot of different ones. As you kind of said, there's several customer-led sessions on skills. But the idea here is that the more that you can focus on skills, the more flexibility it gives you to find the talent that you need. And if you do that at a strategic level, then it makes it a lot easier to cascade down to your talent management folks and to your talent acquisition folks, because you've created a workforce plan built around skills, and so they can just follow suit.
Yeah, and I think it's intimidating, right? With any sort of new initiative, right? A lot of people don't know where to start with skills, and I think what you're alluding to is getting started, and then that becomes ingrained in your strategy, right? It is. I've been reading a lot of David Goggins lately. Guy's a psychopath, but anyway, it is about forming some of these habits that maybe make you uncomfortable initially, until they don't. And skills as a strategy is one where you have to kind of overcome that first, jump in the road, that first hiccup, and then it becomes a part of your strategy, and it is a pivotal part to success in the future.
Yeah, and it's buy-in from all the necessary stakeholders. So if you have it at the strategic level, then it's less an HR initiative that other people are like, oh, not another one of these. And it's risen to the level of strategy for the business, which I think makes it a lot easier to get buy-in from all the other different
and
stakeholders.
You avoid the bias of the HR policy kind of rollout, right?
That's right.
Here's HR again.
Right. Now we got to take this security course, and now I got to fill out this form.
Exactly. Your yearly reviews are due. You get the idea. Anyway, jumping on to the next one. What is an underrated Philly tradition I should check out? Well, not me. I live in Philly, but you get the idea for the audience at home.
Well, you touched on Reading Terminal Market, which I think is when you come to Philly, something that everybody should see, because it basically enables you to kind of get a microcosm of Philly in a very short period of time. Yeah. So one of the things that I recommend is to just to plug you a little bit is the Rocky Run, and it's not so much the steps, but the lead up to the art museum, going down the Benjamin Franklin Parkway and seeing the flags and seeing how everything and how it all builds. I think is underrated, because it's a really beautiful part of the city. And it just visually, as you're kind of walking or running along, it's just very cool to see kind of the international flavor of it, but then bringing it home to the Rocky statue and the art museum and stuff like that. Appreciate
the plug.
Yeah,
it is always fun. We've had tremendous feedback from it. That's why we keep doing it. Because I don't want to run at that time in the morning. I love running, don't get me wrong, but do not want to run at that time and be responsible for that many people. But here we are, year 5 of the Rocky Run, and you're absolutely right. It's almost borderline. It is cinematic, right, to run up there. But I would say when you turn around at the top of the Rocky Steps and then you get to view the skyline, it is it's quite breathtaking and exciting. But the buildup is all there. Then you're out of breath. You feel good. You're on that runner's high or walk, whatever it may be. I am going to change course a little bit on it, similar to kind of views and cinematic. But one of my favorite places to grab like a glass of wine or an appetizer in the city is at the top of the Four Seasons. You don't have to have reservations. You don't have to eat dinner there and spend an arm and a leg, but you can sit up there. It is the tallest building in all of the city, and you can look out 360 view. Maybe if you stay a day extra, get there a day early, go in there, pop in, have a drink, maybe get one of the Phenom sales guys to buy you a drink there or something. I don't know. But it's truly awesome. I got to have a couple drinks there after my wedding, and I was like, this is a nice cherry on top of the city.
You know what's interesting? I was just thinking about this. So one of the oldest ale houses in the city is right around the corner from IAMPHENOM, McGillen's. Yeah. And IAMPHENOM this year is right around St. Patrick's Day. So they might be serving green beer at McGillen's that week leading up, buddy.
Yes.
And that is I'm not usually a proponent of green beer because it usually means it's called sideways.
Yeah.
But it is an experience to be in that ale house, which is old as the hills, and be drinking green beer and listen to the jukebox.
Yeah, it is. It's an awesome place. We will know if people are out getting after it, at McGillen's maybe Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then they show up with a green tongue.
That's right.
Say, we know where you
Yep.
were. But it's HR. It's fine. John, what do you think? We'll do 2 more?
Sounds good.
One and one. I'm going to dig to the... Wait, it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, because I did the favorite thing to do,
Ooh. Banking on AI. So a little bit of a play on words, which obviously you've learned we're kind of keen on here. But I think, Devin, here, the focus is really on those financial services companies, insurance companies, mortgage companies, and some of the complexities they have being a highly regulated industry and using AI, which I think is something that you've kind of come across before. In previous TXLs, you've done like some governance sessions and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously it's a topic that's hot, but also of concern to certain folks.
Yeah, and I think it's all about that particular session is understanding what aspects of the business you are going to apply artificial intelligence to, right? You're not going to open it up to the floodgates. You have to be very conscious of your data and proprietary information. But I think it was for Robert Richardson of SAP was sharing a story with me on a previous TXL, where if you don't find a way to adopt these tools and get your teams to use them in a safe environment, they're going to find a way around it, right? He shared a couple stories of, recruiters downloading important information and uploading it on their personal cell phone. That's not something that you want, right? So obviously it's the play on words there. I think we all are going to be reliant in banking on AI in 2025, 2026, and far beyond it. But also this is going to talk about how you can leverage it in that very, I want to say conservative and moderate way to have it not just be effective for your business, but also be safe for your business in the long run.
Yeah, and it's critical. It's critical to not just turn a blind eye to it or just shut it off because you have concerns. Yeah. The right path forward is responsible and safe and ethical processes and controls, right? And again, this is something that you should not just have to take on yourself. You should be able to depend on your technology to provide some of that ethical approach and some of those controls.
Absolutely.
But you can't. Yeah, you have to have a path forward. You can't just be like, oh, I'll deal with it next year.
It reminds me of the sidewalks, John. I use this analogy all the time, where it is a crossroads like this, and there's a patch of grass that people just walk right through. They have gone on the beaten path and walked through because it's shorter. They're going to find a way. Whether the rules and regulations say that they should stay on the sidewalk or not, they're going to find the path of least resistance to get from point A to point B, the shortest way, the fastest way. And right now that's AI. So if you don't have it within your HR tech stack or in your tools, they're going to go find it elsewhere.
Yep. So you might as well lead them down the path.
Yes, exactly. All right, last one. You get to choose.
Me?
Should we look for a fun one or should we just randomly pick?
Oh, I think I see a fun one in here. I think you'll appreciate this.
Yes.
And this applies to all types of drink.
Okay.
Just to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Where's the best place to grab any type of drink? Before or after an Eagles game?
Ooh. So I'm going to change the question to maybe a Phillies game, right?
Okay.
I don't think I'm very welcome in Lincoln Financial Field, especially with my allegiance, as you mentioned previously. And the only way I'd go there is if the Jets were playing, John. So
it's January, so we know the Jets aren't playing.
Exactly.
It's February now.
Yeah. And jail is not the best place to grab a drink after an Eagles game. But no, I think obviously there is Xfinity Live, right? Right, with the plethora of bars. But for any type of drink, I would say, think of a Phillies game. I think of it being a hot summer day, walking back home, like a water ice from one of just the local spots would be ideal. Water ice is another very colloquial.
Water ice is
Water
how it's
water
actually
ice.
pronounced.
You are
I
absolutely
sound
right.
like a psychopath. The water ice.
Yeah, water ice. So yeah, I think certainly the Xfinity Live complex, you can have any sort of beverage there, or if you're not feeling it, just go cool down with a water ice.
That's a good.
Getting there.
I think the best place before the game is in the parking lot, of course. So, and Xfinity Live is interesting. There's also a place around the stadium called Chickies and Pete's, which is the I can't remember what their tagline is, but it's like a sports bar, the best sports bar that's also a restaurant, or the best restaurant that's also a sports, right?
Yeah.
But that's a great place to go in, gouge yourself on Old Bay fries, and grab a nice cold beer.
Yeah. No, it's a chicken pizza is good. Parking lot, train, also a good place beforehand if you're into that. And right before you pass security, as you realize you had one stored in your pocket. But neither here nor there. John, this was fun. I think the people got a good insight into a little bit of Philadelphia culture, as well as, more importantly, what sort of topics are going to be covered at IAMPHENOM. Obviously, there's more. We didn't get to them all today. So homework again, head on over to IAMPHENOM.com, check out all of the topics and sessions, figure out which ones are right for you, which customers you would like to hear from. I also know we have a bunch of keynotes, didn't talk about any of them there. Pure gold conversation you'll flip out over, and a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah, I mean, 5,000 practitioners, over 100 sessions, as you said. All just about all of them are customer led or industry expert led. So you're not just going to be hearing from phenoms, but we will be there. We will be there to help answer any questions you have and to help show you all the great new things that we're doing.
Yeah, we will be there, jacked up on caffeine and ready to have conversations.
Absolutely.
All right, a couple TXLs will be there as well. I'm excited. IAMPHENOM. Register now. Use promo code TXL if you haven't. John, thank you once again. We'll see you soon. All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye. For having, quite frankly, a very fun conversation. Couldn't have had such a good time on that episode without John. Also want to apologize to the audience at home. Don't know what I was thinking wardrobe wise for that particular recording. I was a cross between Indiana Jones and Eminem and 8 Mile, and I apologize. So I obviously cleaned it up today with the fresh black t-shirt, which I know JD would approve of. Honestly, great episode. Like I mentioned, we did not get into all of the sessions. There simply wasn't enough time. I think we are right around 100 sessions with over 75% of them actually being consumer led. So our customers, practitioners in the industry are all leading these sessions. They are not going to be overly phenom product focused. It's real time challenges followed by real time solutions and what worked for them. So you definitely want to check that out, no matter what persona you are within the human resources, talent acquisition, talent management, HRIT, and everyone in between, and across all industries as well. Can't wait to see you at IAMPHENOM. As I mentioned, March 11th through the 13th. Anyone who's in the Philadelphia area today, tomorrow, or over the weekend, please be safe. I know it'll be fun celebrating, but don't climb any poles. We don't need that. Anywho, hope everyone has a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. Enjoy President's Day on Monday if you are tuning in from the States, and can't wait to see you next week, where I'm sure we'll talk more about IAMPHENOM. Thanks so much. Have a great day.